Khan. We live through the spirit. Shalom, shalom. Israel's brother Zahaba. Y'all
Brother Kazawan.
coming back at you with the Sunday morning session. Lord willing, we can continue to do these every Sunday, kind of go over various topics. The law, right? History, prophecy, go over various things through the spirit. Today we're going to go over Deuteronomy chapter 24 and break down Deuteronomy chapter 24. You got a lot of doctrines out here, and you can put away your wife for anything. A woman can put away her husband, right? All folly and madness. But at the end of the day, we got to go into the law and tackle the law as much as we tackle the prophecies, as much as we tackle the history, right? As much as we tackle practical knowledge, we want to go into the law and tackle these different things as well to understand. Shalom, Mahaziah, Divash Branch, Don Israel, Shalom, Shalom for those that are on the comment board through the spirit. Shalom, right? But we're going to hop right into it. Let's hop right into it. Let's go to Deuteronomy, share my screen. Right? Oops. Deuteronomy chapter 24. We're going to start at verse 1. Right? And it says, when a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it into her hand and send her out of his house. Right? So right now you have a lot of brothers, this mass putting away their ribs. Right? He said you're not doing you're not doing the dishes right. So guess what? You gotta leave. Right? And then they go to what? Right? Let me go to this book. It's Sirach. Right? They go to Sirach chapter 24. It's like Sirach chapter 25. And we're gonna start at verse 26. Right? And they say, well, okay, well, look, if she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorcement and let her go. So if she's not doing the things that she, she's asked her to do, right? She may have caught a little attitude, right? You send her packing, and next, you call her a Lyft, you call her an Uber. All right, we did this breakdown yesterday. You can look at that on the W5 Chicago Instagram. We went live through the spirit. Right, but this is what's happening right now. You have a lot of divorcements going on in Israel, which is causing a lot of fornication and adulteries, right? Causing a lot of people. You may not have a lot of patience with your rib, and then you just kind of split up because you feel like it, right? Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. Let's break that down, actually. All right, let's see what that's going into. What the Lord said, because the Lord expounded on the law, right? The Lord expounded on the law. Right, it's Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 1. And it says, when a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass, she find no favor in his eyes, because he have found some uncleanness in her, then let him write a bill of divorcement and give her in her hand and send her out of his house. Right. And they say, well, that uncleanness, meaning she, if she's not doing the things that I'm asking her to do, then I found some uncleanness in her. Right? Because that's what it's really going into fornication, right? It's really going into fornication. We can prove that. Let's get a precept. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Because the Lord expounded on these things. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Let's go to 19. Let's start at verse 3. All right, the Lord broke it down through the Spirit. Right? This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. And it says, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Because that's what was going on back then. A man was putting away his wife for every cause. That's what Jake do now. You put away your woman for every cause. Right? Like I said, she ain't washed the dishes right. She mispronounced the word in the book of 2 Chronicles. Right? She's reading the genealogy, and she mispronounced the brother's name. He said, don't you know who that is? You mispronounced his name, you got to go. Right? Brother, you can't even pronounce it right. Right? Stumbling over the precepts. So you putting away your wife for every cause. And they was, trying to get Yahushua to say that. Right? And he says, and he answered and said unto them, have you not read, right, that he which made them at the beginning and made them male and female, and said, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave to his wife. Right? That's what Adam did. He cleaved to his wife. and they twain shall be one flesh. They're one flesh at the end of the day. That's why Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 15, flee fornication, right? Because if you join to a harlot, y'all going to be one flesh, right? And it says, and said, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore the Most High have joined together, let not man put asunder, right? Then say unto him, why did Moses then command, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and put her away, right? If that was the case, if they were one flesh, why did Moses put in Deuteronomy 24 and inscribe that out? That you can have you can put away your wife and divorce her. Let's see what verse 8 says. He said unto Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. Yeah, it wasn't so from the beginning. Adam wasn't just putting away Eve, right? Isaac wasn't just putting away Rebecca, and so on and so forth. It wasn't supposed to be that way, right? But for the hardness of your hearts, because Israel hard-hearted, right? And he said, and I say unto you, right, because Yahushua is the law. He's the word. He expounded on it. Whosoever shall put away his wife, except for be for fornication, right? That uncleanness we spoke about earlier. And shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her, which is put away, doeth commit adultery. Now, because you caused the land to sin. I mean, you got to think about it. You put away your rib, right? And you say, okay, well, I'm not dealing with her anymore, right? She kind of trespassed, right? It wasn't for fornication. It wasn't for any uncleanness, right? Truly. She goes out and she marries another man. Now that man, by default, committed adultery. And now you got to think about 10 people are doing this. You just have now you're causing the land to sin, right? Now you're causing the land to sin because now that man doeth commit adultery. Right? Let me go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Right? It's going to cause mass confusion. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And you know the church of Corinth was dealing with a lot of fornication, dealing with a lot of different things right now not to be said.
Right? I got a point to you.
Huh? You say you got a point?
Yeah, after you.
All right, come. This 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 9. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn, right? And unto them, it's like, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband, right? You don't want to, and you got a doctrine going around saying that the wife can depart from her husband, right? That the wife, she can pack her husband's bags, call up an Uber. It says, get out of my house. He said, no, but I bought the house. She said, no, get out of the house or I'm calling, I'm going to get the divorce attorney. And these are things that are going to happen. This is a doctrine that a woman can now put away her husband, man. Right? But not to digress, verse 11, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled from her. And if she depart, right? Talking about a woman that really don't believe. Right? Or be reconciled to her husband. Let not the husband put away his wife. Right? Let not the husband put away his wife. But to the rest spake I, not the Lord. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So let's say, and you got people, well, she not in the truth, so I can put her away. You got congregations saying, yeah, if she not in the truth, that means you can put away your old wife, get a wife in our congregation, and you'll fare well. But if she's not believing, if she be pleased to dwell with him, she doesn't cause you to break the commandments, right? She be pleased to dwell with you. She's submissive still. Then you really can't really put her away, right? But let's see what verse 13 says. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. No, you can leave your rib. I mean, you can leave your husband. You can tell him to go, right? That, like that movie. What's that movie? I Can Do Bad All By Myself. All right, let me pull that up. All right, Tyler Perry. All right, and you like her. You like Taraji P. Henson played this role in the movie, but I can do bad all by myself. All right. And this is what Eve is turning into. This is what Eve is turning into, man. Right? You just putting away your husband. You do whatever you want to do. Right? It's a decent movie through the spirit, but Kyle, you got it, King.
Yeah, and it's even like the Lord, right? The Lord didn't just put Israel away for no reason. He didn't put us away for gathering. You just slipped up on the Sabbath and you broke it on accident, or you accidentally touched an unclean animal, or you was just unclean by some reason, or you did something, right? The Lord put us away for committing adultery, right? He put the nation of Israel for spiritually fornicating with the other nations by dealing with their gods, right? By putting other gods before him, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse number 6.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Uh,
Is it Jeremiah 3 and 6?
uh,
You got it.
It says, the Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel have done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. Right? So, hey, the nation of Israel played the harlot. Right? The Lord not putting you away unless He doing the same thing that you're supposed to do. If your woman plays the harlot, she goes and sleeps with another man, that's the only time you could put her away. Right? You can't put her away because she just, she slipped up and she accidentally bought something when the sun was going down. The sky was red. She just happened to buy something on accident, right? Or she accidentally bought gelatin, something with gelatin in it, pork gelatin, and y'all ate it, and now you just want to put her away because y'all ate pork. No, you can't do that, right? The only way you could put your woman away is if she commits adultery, right? It says, and I said, after she had done all these things, turned thou unto me, but she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. Right? So you had Judah and Israel, right? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, right? One was going off at first, and then the other one wasn't going off, which was Judah, right? But then they both went off. They started to all do the same thing, commit adultery on the Lord, right? It says, I saw then, it says, and I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. Right? So that's what you got us in the predicament we in now. Right? Because we chose to go and play the harlot with the Lord. We chose to be in idolatry and freak off. Right? Go lay down with these other nations. Right? I'm going to go up to verse 1. Right? It says, they say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Right? And that's a question, right? The answer is no. She can't return unto him, right? But through Yahweh Shai, we was able to be reconciled back to the Lord, obviously, right? But it says, shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again unto me, saith the Lord. Right? You played the harlot with America, the Canaanites, the Ishmaelites, all these different nations are people that played the harlot with Babylon. Right? They did this over and over and over again. So the Lord had to put us away. Right? But you got it.
That's right. The Lord had to put us away, man. Hide his face from us. All right. I can get this precept real quick in Matthew chapter 5. Because all it is that you don't want to work. Right? Marriage, you gotta work. It's not gonna be easy. You're gonna get into it. You're gonna argue. But the same way the Lord exhibits patience with us, you have to have the same patience towards your significant other. All right. Matthew 5 and 31. Right? The Lord gonna say it again. It have been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement, right? But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving the cause of fornication, saving for the cause of fornication. And let's look up fornication, right? Fornication definition, right? Sexual intercourse between people not married to each other, right? So Basically, we know sex is marriage. So basically, it's just unlawful, unlawful consensual sex, right? That's what fornication is. So essentially, you're just laying down with anyone without the intent of, or without the intentions of getting married to that person or taking that person to be your wife or your husband. You're just doing it for the act, right? That's what you're just doing. You're just doing it for the act. You're not really wanting to marry, lay down with that person. You're not doing the things that constitutes in Exodus chapter 22 as a man, right? You're not, endowing her to be your wife. You're not taking care of her or her raiment, clothes. You're not doing that. You're not putting a house over her head. You're just simply laying down with this woman. And fornication can be anything. In Leviticus chapter 18, it tells you all the causes of fornication, right? Fornication is just not if a woman commits adultery by laying down with another man, right, or another brother, right? Hey, fornication can be if you caught your wife and you walk in and she's laying down with another woman. That's a grounds for you leaving. She's laying down with another woman. They're both naked, doing obscene acts, right? Unseemly acts, as Paul says in Romans chapter 1. You can leave. You got brothers saying, well, I don't know, but that's off. You can't do that. Right? Or if you catch Esau deal with this. You catch your significant other laying down with the house pet, right, with the animal, doing damn Toto the dog, destroying Toto the dog, man. Now you gotta put the dog to death, and then you gotta get Esau up out of here, man. On your significant other, right? So fornication can be a variety of things, laying down with the stepmother, whatever. In Leviticus 18, read that chapter. We're not going to go too much into it, but you can read that chapter and see a lot of things that constitutes for fornication. Well, I'm just going to say it again, but I'm going to read it again. But I say to you, that's whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. And that's what's going to get the land to sin. Right? So that's what the Lord said. Right? You're gonna cause her to commit adultery, because 9 times out of 10, she's not gonna be a widow at 20, not a widow, but unmarried at 23, 24. She's gonna want to marry another man. That's why you're gonna cause her to commit adultery. Right? Deuteronomy 24 and verse 2. And it says, and when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife, right? And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and giveth into her hand, or sendeth out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife after that she is defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. Right? Because it causes mass confusion. What's going to happen is, her first husband puts her away, and then she gets another husband. Then he dies, or he puts her away. And she says she does a U-turn and then goes back to her first husband. You're going to cause the land to sin that way. That's why Yahweh Shah was saying that. You're going to cause them to commit adultery. Look at Leviticus chapter 19. Right? Leviticus 19 and 29. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. Because through default, you're going to become you're going to be laying with all these different men. Right? And the land is going to fall to whoredom, because if you have multiple men putting away wives, putting away Israel, now Israel is just a land of whoredom. You have people switching congregations, and you say, well, I was going to lay with this, this is my new wife, or this is my new husband. You flying across the country, and then this is your third congregation in 4 years. It's your third you haven't spent more than 2 Passovers at one congregation, man. And then you get in new husbands and new wives, the land is going to fall to whoredom, and the land has become full of wickedness. Right? So this is the reason why the Lord had to come to expound on that law in Deuteronomy 24, because you've seen it happen again. Everybody's putting away their ribs or their significant other for just nothing, man. Right? Let me get this one precept real quick in Ephesians chapter 5. Right? The way you're supposed to deal with your significant other is the way the Lord deals with us as a people. And you have to mirror that, right? It's Ephesians chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Hamashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it. You're supposed to love your wife so much that you're willing to die for her. You're willing to die for your wife. If anything happens, you're ready to put your life on the line for your household. That's how the Hamashiach loves us. What if every little thing the Lord put you away for? What if you transgressed at 9:03 in the morning and at 9:04 you was out this thing? You lost all your understanding. The Lord just kind of do that thing, what they do in Men in Black. They kind of do the thing.
Flash.
You know, yeah, that little flash, and then you just forget that you was ever an Israelite. He said, "Well, hold on, didn't I have a tattoo appointment? Oh, I gotta get going to that." And you walk out the door, and you just start marking up your body because you forgot everything because the Lord put you away. You can't. You gotta mirror how the Lord deals with the church or how you deal with your household. Verse 26. That he may sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hateth his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth, even as the Lord the church. Right? So how the Lord deals with the church, how he has grace, how he has mercy, how he has patience. As long as we're trying in this truth, as long as we're attempting 144% every day, we may make mistakes here and there. That's why the Lord is long-suffering and merciful. But you're not long-suffering and merciful with your rib. That's why you just put her away like she's nothing. That's evil. All right. You have something?
Yeah. Let me find it real quick.
Yeah, that's evil.
Yeah, I got it. Right. It's Galatians 5:22. Because like the brother said, you gotta be long suffering. You gotta be gracious to your wife too. Right? She gonna slip up. Proverbs 24:16 applies to everybody in the truth. Right? It applies to her too. It's not just a just man. It's a just woman too. Right? So if she fall, the Lord gonna have enough mercy and grace for her to get back up. Right? You don't know. You don't know. Y'all might get to Jacob's trouble, and you might be the one that died. And she might get beamed up into a chariot. Right? So you can't be just treating your woman like just any old damn dog, right? A damn rag dog, a damn shoe, right?
Wow.
Right. This is Galatians 5:22. It says, "But the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith." Right. So you gotta practice long suffering, right? The same way the Lord does it. All right. Let me get one more precept real quick before we move on. All right. This 1 Peter chapter 3. So 1 Peter chapter 3. And I'm gonna start at verse number 7. Right? Because if you're not long suffering, right, you ain't got no compassion. Right? You just in it for yourself. You just want to lay down, you just want to come home from work, lay down with your woman, and say, "Hey, rub my back." That's it. Just want her to rub your back, heat up the macaroni and cheese.
Leave her in the dark all day.
Yeah. Right? Don't want to read with her, don't want to study with her, don't want to pray with her, fast with her. That's why she got all these spirits. And that's why a woman might go and commit adultery. Right? Not Usher, R. Kelly got a song that'll tell you, right? When a woman done or something like that. Right? It's over with at that point. Right? So you gotta know how to deal with your woman. Right? That's why it says love her as your own body. Right? It says, this is 1 Peter 3:7. It says, "Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered." Right? You could have your whole household overthrown based off the way you treat your woman. Right? You're not dealing with her according to knowledge. Right? You're just dealing with her like any old woman in the world. How you used to deal with the harlots when you was in the world. Right? She calling you, asking you questions. "I don't feel like talking to you right now." Right? She asking sincere questions. You just hanging up the phone and damn declining her calls. right? Damn, yelling at her as soon as you get in the door. Hey, you shut the hell up, right? Make my warm bath, right? It says, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered, right? But you got it, King.
Oh yeah, like you just a demon. Well, babe, she come to tell you, but I've been dealing with this spirit. Whoa! Did you rebuke it? All right. How many chapters you read? I read 9, my lord. Well, you didn't read 10. Get out my face. Be gone. All right, you clap. Be gone. And then she has to disappear to the dark night. All right, you're just an overlord. And what we said yesterday, in your house, she has to call you commanding general in your house. You gotta be called commanding general, right? If she don't call you commanding general, you're gonna put her away, or you're just not gonna talk to her. Yes, my commanding general. You can't be a lion in your house. You go to Sirach 25:1. You cannot be a lion in your house, man. Right? Sirach chapter 25. Huh?
I got one more point once you're done.
God, this is Sirach 25:1. And 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful before Yahweh and men. So these are the things that the Most High, he loves. The unity of brethren, right? We just got together for the new moon. It was beautiful. All praise to Yahweh Shah. All the congregations around the world, Watchmen for Israel, right? Got together, and guess what? We unify with the brethren. The love of neighbors, right? You love your neighbors, you love yourself. And what? A man and a wife that agree together. So y'all have to be on one mind, one accord, man. Teach your rib, have patience with your rib, have her see the things that you see through the spirit, take some ideas and suggestions from her, and guess what? Now y'all dwelling according to knowledge, man. Right? Dwelling according to knowledge, man. So that's what the Lord loves. Right? That's what the Lord loves. All right, you got a point?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Sirach 36 and 24. Right? Because you can't just have a wife, right? We was talking about that. Brothers was bringing that out. The brother Mike brought that out yesterday in the class, right? You be having brothers, they be in the truth, and they wife only come into the truth because she really love them that much. She really not in the truth. And so that brother, he not even thinking of building her up. He just like, yeah, she ain't gonna never leave me. Right? The Lord will manifest some things if you ain't doing right. You're not treating that's your people, right? You got to treat her the same way you go out there and treat your people on the streets. Right, you showing every sister compassion, every brother compassion, all these damn demons compassion when you out on the street. They do the same thing when you get home. Right, this is Sirach 36 and 24. It says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. Right, now it's not just it's not a possession like, oh yeah, I own you, you a slave, get on this chain and damn, you move as I go. Right, you damn like a dog, right, get on a leash. Like Jake be putting these damn Edomite women. It was a video out here in Milwaukee. Jake had an Edomite on a leash during Juneteenth, right? And I like that, right? But she needed to be a help like unto yourself, right? So she needed to know how to build you up, encourage you, exhortate you when you feeling low, right? Because if she ain't fully in this thing and she just doing it because she love you, and she ain't gonna be able to help you. She's not gonna be that pillar of rest. She's gonna turn into a demon little by little by little because you a demon on the inside. You thinking about getting another rib without even, doing it according to knowledge, or you just hey, I'm gonna go behind her back and she gonna have to deal with it, right? Hey, you a demon, right? But I'm gonna keep reading. Right? It says, where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled, right? So hey, if she not built up and she don't got that wall of protection, right, for you, right? She don't got that wall to help spirit stay out. Hey, it's gonna be spoiled. Right, it's gonna get destroyed and robbed, and everything. Satan's gonna take it. Right, she's gonna be gone. Right, she's gonna be in another man's arms, and you just gonna be looking goofy. Right, it says, and he that hath no wife will wander up and down mourning. Right, and then when she gone, you're gonna be just, damn, man, I wish I would have did this. Wish I would have did that. I wish I would have listened to those cold cuts. I wish I would have listened to the Lord. He had the scriptures for me, and then the Lord gonna force you to build yourself up. Right, to know how to treat a wife if he decides to give you one. Right, but you got it, King.
Right, that's a big responsibility, man. Right, that's a big responsibility to dwell with a woman and have her as your wife, because you're not gonna have to rule your household, man. You can't be a lion, because that's one of brother's problems. You're a lion in your house. You say grocery shopping. I don't want you to grocery shop. And she says, well, where are we gonna get the food? And you hand her a big sword. right? You say there's a forest preserve up the street. You know what to do. That's evil, right? Dwell with her according to knowledge, right? But this is Deuteronomy 24:5. When a man have taken a wife, right, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year and shall cheer up his wife which he have taken. And that's why the laws are so perfect. If you have a new wife, you want to spend time with your wife. You want to cheer up your wife, man. Maybe, make some babies, right? You have a year to do that, right? You have a year to do that. Can you do that now? Can you tell Esau, look, I just got married? He's gonna say, congratulations. How was the wedding? He said the wedding was great, right? He said, well, the honeymoon, where'd you go? I think I went to Bora Bora. We had a great time. He said, okay, all right, man, you ready for work? He says, well, I think I should take a year off. So what do you mean? And you show him the Bible, you show him this verse right here. And he says, you know what? I gotta cheer up my wife. And he said, I want my paychecks by sundown every day. You can't do that in America. You're going to get fired. Now I looked it up. Women for pregnancy paid leave. Let's say she was pregnant, all right, and she has her baby. She gets up to 12 work weeks of paid parental leave for either birth of the employee's biological child or children, right? She gets up to 12 weeks. That's not a year. That's not long enough. She can't be with her husband for more than 12 weeks. Right? Now I looked it up as well. Paid leave for men, right? Paid leave for men can have up to 6 months, right, with your baby, right? Let's see in California, right? They really only get 8 weeks in California. You get 8 weeks. She gets 12, you get 8. They want you back to work, man. So that's why the law is so perfect. That's why the law is so perfect, because the Lord gives you a whole year. You don't go out to war, nothing. You're not gonna die in a battle. But in this system, you can have a new baby and die tomorrow, man. You can be at work and work yourself to death, right? And guess what was all in vain, right? Verse 6: No man shall take the nether or the upper millstone to pledge, for he have a man's life to pledge. Right? Let's look up an upper millstone food. Right? Upper millstone. What is that? Right? So, like when I was in 3rd grade, I went to a camp spot, a Native American, camp thing. And they showed you this, and this is how they will grind their food or make bread, right? Or grind their corn. So like when you go into like a country or whatever the case may be, this is how you used to make bread, right? Your upper millstone, right? If you didn't know what that was, this is designed for you to make food. So what is a pledge, right? What is a pledge? So when you're pledging something, it's like a promise or undertaking, right? A thing that is given as security for the fulfillment of a contract or the payment of a debt is liable forfeiture in the event of. So it's basically like a down payment or collateral, right? All right. You want to borrow my keys and you want to take my car? All right. Well, give me your ID, right? Give me your ID so I know that you're coming back with my keys and my car. Right. All right, cool. He gives it as security, right? And then you can. Some people may go to the bathroom at a restaurant and they have to give their ID or whatever the case may be, and they have to come back or whatever, right? Or a party. So it's like collateral. It's a pledge. So what the Lord is saying in Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 6: No man shall take the nether or the upper millstone to pledge, for he taketh this man's life to pledge. You can't take take this from him. This thing that makes food. Right? You can't take that as a pledge, because how is he going to eat? Oh, yeah? You want to borrow 3 of my oxen? Well, give me your upper millstone. Well, how is he going to eat? So basically, you're taking a man's life to pledge. What are you doing when you do that? You oppress your brother. Now you make it burdensome for him. All he wants to do is borrow 3 things from you right? And you take something that he needs for his family to cook, essentially, right? And you say, okay, you can't get this back until you give me my oxen back. That's evil. So that's what the Lord was saying.
I got a point.
Con.
Yeah, that's like that's like modern day taking your brother's stove, his microwave, his toaster, his air fryer, and his credit card. Right. So
Yeah.
now he can't buy no food, he can't make no food. You just got him starved. Right. I got a preset real quick. This Sirach 4:2. Wait till you get there. Right, just taking everything from him. Right. Like, hey, let me get this. I'll hold it for you till you get done doing this. Till you know you give me this stuff back. Right, so you bring my card back, you can't get your debit card, you can't get your stove, you can't get your air fryer. You just trying to kill your brother. Are you no better than Esau? It's like they come and repo your stuff, right? It's Sirach 4:2. It says, "Make not an hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress." Right? Because the thing that he might be borrowing from you, he might need that. Right? You putting him in distress by trying to, take these things from him. Right? It says, "Add no more trouble to an heart that is vexed, and defer not to give to him that is in need." Right? So if a brother needs something, and he need to use something real quick, hey, let him use it. Right? Because people think we went into captivity just off of eating pork. Right? People was breaking this commandment. Jake was getting back. Right? Jake do that nowadays. So what make you think Jake is not gonna go and do that today? I mean, back then. He was trying to take that man pledge. He said, "Hey, you got to get this to me, right? You ain't using this, right?" Jake might have been in hard times, trying to feed his family, right? So he gave him the thing, right? He gave him the what is it called again? I'm tripping, right? He gave him the upper millstone, right? And then the brother ended up starving, can't feed his family, right? But you got it, man.
Yeah. I mean, and Jake would do that probably as a revenge, right? He would probably did that as, oh yeah, didn't you accidentally knock over my damn what oxen, my bullock? Didn't your bullock ran my bullock? Okay, you want to borrow this from me? And I know you my neighbor, but look, I'm gonna need that. And then Jake would do that as recompense, trying to get back at his brother. There's a lot of scenarios where Jake would try to oppress his brother, but nonetheless, you cannot oppress your brother. We're gonna get into that. All right, so let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 24. All right, let's go back to that. In Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 6. Right, and it says, verse 7, if a man be found stealing any of his brethren or the children of Israel and maketh merchandise of him or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put away evil from you. Yeah, you can't steal and sell your brother. You can't steal and sell your brother. You can't human traffic your brother, right? And these laws were from the beginning, right? Who do we know that stole their brother, right? That absolutely stole their brother. Right, let's go to the book of Genesis. Our forefathers broke that law, right? This Genesis chapter 37. All right, and I'm gonna start at verse number 22. Right, you can't steal and sell your brother, and you just use human trafficking. Right, this Genesis 37 and 22. All right, I start verse 21. And it says, and Reuben heard and delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. Because this is what they were doing to Joseph. Our forefathers, right? Hey, Benjamin wasn't born yet, right? But hey, our forefathers were doing things with Joseph, trying to kill Joseph. They was envious of Joseph, right? Verse 23, and it came to pass when Joseph was coming to his brethren that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast into a pit, and the pit was empty, and there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread. So why did Joseph just sitting there in the pit? They're eating, right? And it says that they lift up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said to his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother in our flesh. And his brethren were content. And they were what? Content at this idea, right? And it says, verse 28, then they were passed by Midianites, merchant men, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and Joseph to the Slaki sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt, man. Right? So they sold their brother Joseph into slavery. You can't sell your brother, right? You can't do that. You can't make merchandise of your brother. You can't human traffic your brother. And they do that today, right? You had a whole movie based off human trafficking, right? It says in 2022, the report estimates that 50 million people were victims of modern slavery any given day of 2021, in any given day. Out of these, an estimated 27.6 million were in situations of forced labor, and another 22 million found people in forced marriage. So you got a lot of human trafficking that goes on. You got a movie based off human trafficking. You know what that movie's called? Let me see, based off human. Let's see if I can find it. Sounds of Freedom. Right? This movie's based off human trafficking. Right? Because you got a lot of, and then you wonder why a lot of Jakes, let me see, a lot of Eves go missing. I think in Cleveland last year, you had like at least 50, 60 people gone in 1 week. Like missing. And like 80% of those were Eves. Right? I mean, it's obvious that, you know, this land doesn't follow this law because you have a lot of people going missing, being so. Yeah, let me look this up real quick. What's his name? Jeffrey Epstein. What were they doing there? What were they doing on that land? What were they? I mean, you had Epstein's list. You had a list of people that was, you know, doing certain things on that island that ought not to be said. Yeah, Stephen Hawking there. What was Stephen Hawking doing there?
Can't even walk. Can't even talk.
Can't even talk. If you don't know about Epstein's Island, man, see it pop right up. They were doing things to little boys and girls, and most of them were Jakes. See that? That's him. And this is and this is that guy. He was doing things to little Jake boys and girls, man. And Eves, man. Our little sisters. Oh, the Mossad destroys this man. He already destroyed, but I hope he gets destroyed even more than this. Way more than this, man. Because that's evil. Look at this guy. Just sick.
Yeah.
You know? Get this man off my screen, man. I'm gonna close out the tab. I like that guy. All right. You can't do that. He's out here selling people and making merchandise of other people. What the hell is wrong with you? All right, I'm gonna go back to that Deuteronomy 27:7. If a man, right, be found stealing in any of his brethren of the children of Israel and maketh merchandise or selleth them, then that thief shall die. So guess what they gotta go? Guess where Stephen Hawking, Epstein, Oprah, and all the people that was found on that nasty list, where do they have to go? They gotta be put to death, man. They have to be put to death. And thou shalt put away the evil from among you. And people asking, well, why is the Lord coming to kill people? Because we have people making merchandise of other people. That the Lord said you have to put the evil away among you. And that's what we pray for. Let me get this precept in Deuteronomy 21:14. That's what we pray for, man. Right? It's Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 21 and 14. And this is going into the law regarding, you know, getting a concubine or lesser wife after war. We couldn't even do that with the heathen woman or the stranger woman after war, after their spoils of war. We couldn't just, okay, I have her now. We just won. You know what? I don't really want to deal with you. I'm just going to sell you to my brother. You couldn't even do that. Right? It's Deuteronomy 21:14. And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will, but thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. Right? If you go to war with the the Midianites, right, or the Ishmaelites, when you won, and one of one of the spoils of war was an Ishmaelite woman. After she pared her nails, kind of shaves her head, mourns for 30 days, you marry her, you say, you know what? I don't want to look at you, and I'm tired of you, right? You keep trying to, you keep think about Allah all day. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sell you to my brother, and I'm gonna get you for about 30 pieces of shekel. You can't do that. You gotta let her go out. See, these laws, we're not evil. Esau is evil, man. Right? And this, this prohibits these laws. Right? That's why we have these laws. It's perfect. You have something on that?
Nah, you good.
Right? Evil. Right? Deuteronomy 24:8. Take heed in the plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently, and do according to all the priests and Levites shall teach you, and as I commanded them, so shall you observe to do. Right? Talking about the plague of leprosy. Right? We know some of our forefathers, and Miriam got hit with that leprosy. Right? We read Exodus. That's like Numbers, the 12th chapter. Right? But you can read about the law of leprosy, and chiefly in Leviticus chapter 13, verse 9. Right? In Leviticus, the 13th chapter, you kind of read about, how the ordinances of leprosy were dealt with. Right? Leviticus chapter 13, start verse 9. And it says, when the plague of leprosy is in a man, then shall he be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him. Behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and have it turned the hair white, and there be a quickly raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy of the skin and the flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if the leprosy break out abroad in the skin, then the leprosy cover all the flesh of him that hath the plague, from his head even unto his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him unclean, that he have plague, and it is all turned white, he is clean. Right? You can read down in verse 17 on how the plague was leprosy was dealt with by the priests when you were leprous in the ancient world. Right? Kind of seeing what Deuteronomy chapter 24 was alluding to, right? In verse 9, talking about the leprosy. You can read about that in Leviticus chapter 13. Right? Verse 9, remember what the Lord thy God did unto Miriam by the way after that you were come forth out of Egypt. Right? The Lord smitten her with leprosy for speaking against his servant Moses. Verse 10, when thou doest lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Right? And now we understand what a pledge is. Let's say you lend your brother something, right? And he wants his pledge back. Or let's say he lent you something and you gave him a pledge, and you want your pledge back. You can't go into his house and get your pledge. Right, well, it is mine anyway, so you know what? He ain't answering the phone, so I'm just gonna go into his house and I'm just gonna take my pledge. You can't do that, and that's trespassing. They got trespassing laws against that. Right? We go to Sirach 26 and 22. You can't just, all right, well, that is my pledge, or my key. I see my keys right there. You pick his lock. You pick your brother's lock, and you walk in his house. Yo, Sean, you up? Looks like you at work. I'm gonna get my key. He just go through this man's house. Right? Boundaries. Go to Sirach chapter 26. You see what I want. 21 slot, 22. All right, this is Sirach 26 and 22. A foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house. The Lord called you a fool, right? You went and go get your pledge. You all in this man's house while he's not home. The Lord said you're a fool, right? But a man of experience is ashamed of him. That's a shameful thing, right? You wouldn't be ashamed of that. Like it says, verse 23, a fool will peeping at the door into the house, but he that is well nurtured will stand without. Right? You got you ever seen those people that are kind of listening through the door? Right? Creeps. They'll just listen at your door, right? And just trying to see what's going on in your house, right? Or what they call them, peeping toms.
Yeah, eavesdropping and all that.
Yeah, you're a peeping tom, right? What's a peeping tom? We gotta go back because they got some explicit stuff going on, right? But what is it called in peeping Tom? A viewer who enjoys seeing the sex acts of sex organs of other. Yeah, you know, peeping Tom, right? They watch other people secretly, especially when those people are taking their clothes off, right? You're just looking into somebody's house, being a peeping Tom, right? But you don't want to be into your neighbor's house. You look at you just because he has your pledge. That's what the Lord is saying.
Precept after you.
You got it.
Sirach 41, and you can start at verse 16. Right, because that's a shameful thing to do, right? Although it's yours, right? But that's damn near being a thief. Just how you picking another brother lock and just kind of, you know, roaming through his house, probably sat on his couch and just, you know, just took your stuff, probably took a little bit of snacks with you, just doing all kind of madness. All right, this is Sirach chapter 41 and verse 16. It says, therefore be shamefaced according to my word, for it is not good to retain all shamefacedness, neither is it altogether approved in everything, right? So the Lord going to go through, Sirach is about to go through a few things, right, that, you know, that you should be shamefaced in, right? Men and women, they need to be shamefaced at all times, right? You're going to drop straight to the point, right? Verse 19. I'm going to start at verse 18. It says, of an offense before a judge and ruler, of iniquity before a congregation and people, of unjust dealing before thy partner and friend, right? It says, and of theft in regard of the place where thou sojournest, in the regard of truth of God and his covenant, and to loan with thine elbow upon the meat, and of scorning to give and take. Right? So you can't just be going, you should be ashamed if you're going around just, you know, trying to go and rush in a brother's house because he ain't there and just trying to take your pledge back. Right? You damn near a thief. Right? That's off to go do. Right? There's no reason for you to go do that. Have some patience. Wait till the brother, you know, he has the time to, you know, set up a meeting with you and go and get that thing back to you. Right? But you got it.
Deuteronomy. All right, because the Lord, he's going to tell you, you got to stand there. You got to stand abroad. You got to wait for that. Right? Because the Lord has laws against a man holding on to your pledge as well. Right? So this is Deuteronomy chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 10. When thou doest lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Right? Thou shalt stand abroad, and the man to whom thou doest lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto thee. Right. So if you lend him something, you can't say, well, he said he's gonna give me that $10. So you go into his house and take his $10 from him. No, you have to wait until he gives you his pledge. Right. Verse 12. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. So let's say he don't got nothing like that. And he gives you his last. He gives you his last. Right, and you take his pledge, but you never give it back. You wait 2 weeks to give it back. That's evil. You can't wait 2 weeks to give a poor man's pledge back. Right? In any case, thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment and bless thee, and it shall be righteousness unto thee before the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not oppress and hire a servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of the strangers that are in the land within thy gates, right? So you can't oppress your fellow brother, or even if an Israelite is born in a different land and he comes and he's poor, and now he lives within your borders, you can't just oppress him because he's not native from this land, right? He speaks the language of the Ammonites, right? And he comes back because he found out he got some family over in the land of Judah. And he comes back to Judah, but he kind of broke. So he started working for a Judite, and then he started oppressing him just because he's not native to that land. That's evil. Right? Or he's poor and needy. See, these laws are perfect. What these laws are doing is making you not able to oppress your brother or get some type of gain unrighteously out of your brother. This is how you deal with loving your brother as you love yourself. That's why the Lord said in 1 John 5:3, right? Let me read this in 1 John. I'm going to start at verse 2. These are what these laws are designed to do. That's why the Lord came with those two commandments, right? Expounding on these commandments. Right? 1 John 5 and verse 2. And it says, by this we know that we love the children of God. Who are the children of God? We're the children of God. So how do you know that we love your brother, you love your sister, or you love the children of God? When we love God and keep his commandments. So when you love the Most High, you do what he tells you to do, his commandments, you by default automatically love your brother. Because now, since you're bound by these laws, which are perfect, you're never gonna be able to transgress against your brother if you keep these laws. It's impossible. The only way you can transgress against your brother is if you break the laws or not love the Most High. So these laws are perfect. You're not able to oppress your brother. All right. Verse number 15. At his day, let me start at 15. At his day, thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against the Lord unto thee, and it be sent unto thee. Hey, man, if you was in the ancient world and you had your hired servant and he did something for you, you have to pay him by the time the sun goes down. You can't wait 1 week, 2 weeks to give that man his wages, because he's setting his mind upon that. He thinking about probably giving some food. He thinking about probably, he's gonna buy a bullock, he's gonna cook it, he's gonna roast it, and next he's gonna sell more portions of it so he can get some more money, buy some more bullocks. He sets his mind upon that money. And you say, you know what, like Esau, what does Esau do? He pays you 2 weeks later. He pays you 2 weeks later. See, I got this pulled up real quick. And it says, when do people get paid? Weekly. Employees are paid once a week, usually every Friday. Bi-weekly, employees are paid every other week on a specific day of the week. This is the most common pay period. Why is this the most common pay period? If the Most High say pay you when the sun go down, because you got Jake and Issachar, Northern Kingdom, Ephraim, Simeon, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben. You got a lot of our people in these neighborhoods working for Esau day and day, and they getting paid once a week. And then Esau take out taxes. He take out taxes to fund wars and do different things over there in the Middle East, in the East region, man. Losing your money. Right? That's unrighteousness. Employees are paid twice a month, typically on the 15th and the last day of the month. You get paid 2 times a month. That's evil. You only get to see 2 checks a month. There's 30 days. Hold on, Cosmo. You're supposed to get paid 30 times in 1 month. 30 days every time the sun go down. But Esau says, yeah, I'm gonna pay you twice, 2 times out of 30 days. This is
gonna take taxes from you,
huh?
Ain't gonna take $203 from you in the taxes.
Yeah,
the government.
People like this just gotta be extinct. Just gotta go. Just gotta find something to do. And just most I gotta destroy this man, because he's paying you 2 times a month. When the Lord,
It's some jobs, like some sales jobs that I heard of, like some AT&T jobs. They'll pay you once a month, like at the end of the month.
Yep, and yeah, I know that too well. Right, I know that too well. Right, and then you got to negotiate just to get paid once a week. They say you got to do certain things for us to get paid once a week, and then we may change the pay cycle for you. When the Lord said, at his day, thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, man. Right? So that's how you know this place is off. Right? For he is poor and set his heart upon it, unless he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it shall be sent unto thee. Because the Lord, he hears the prayer of the humble. He hears the prayer of the poor. That's why when we doing these giveaways, I be telling him, what's your name? He says, my name's Tyrone. I say, hey, Tyrone, pray for me. My name is Zach. Because guess what? Those prayers are piercing the clouds, man. Right? The Most High, he dealing with the prayer of the poor. It's like it's Sirach 21:5.
I got a point after you.
Yeah, man. Hey, if you see a poor brother, you giving charity, ask him to pray for you. I'm trying to find this precept. Oh, Schlock, I'm in the wrong book. Let me get this in the book of Sirach, chapter 21. All right, I'm gonna start at verse number 5. The prayer of the poor, the Most High don't play about the poor of his people. Sirach 21:5, a prayer out of a poor man's mouth reaches unto the ears of Yahweh, and his judgment cometh speedily. His judgment comes speedily. Let a poor man pray that you get destroyed. You may not make it home that night. Right? Right? And it says, well, actually, that's it on that. So yeah, the Most High, he listens to the prayer of the poor, man, and it will pierce the clouds. Right? So don't ever think, you may be in a lower state. Don't ever think that the Most High not hearing your prayers just because you're in a lower state. He made you low, and the Most High, he got his eye on you. He got that angel on you, watching you, man. Our forefathers in a poor state, and when they prayed, it pierced the clouds. Right? You got something. You got it.
Yeah, sorry, 35:13. Yeah, the Lord not dealing with that, man. Like, just don't care about your people and just afflicting your own people. Brother just really needs something, right? You just won't give it to him out of the hardness of your heart, right? This is Sirach 35, verse 13. It says, he will not accept any person against a poor man, but will hear the prayer of the oppressed. Right? So, hey, the Lord, just because you in the truth, and that brother, he might have been smoking crack for 20 years. Hey, the Lord tests you to see if you're gonna give back. But the Lord is seeing, hey, you're gonna give this charity, you're gonna, look out for your brother, give him some words of encouragement, tell him you're Israelite, plus give him some food, or you just gonna walk past and be like, you should have been in the truth. All right. Hey, the Lord not dealing with that. Right? He says he will hear the prayer of the oppressed. Right now, what is that prayer? That prayer going to turn into? It's going to turn into a curse upon you. Right? Like the brother said, you might not make it home. Right? This is Sirach 4 and 5. Right? You could go to that. Right? It might turn into a curse to you. Right? You might get sifted out of the truth because you didn't want to, look out for the poor and needy. Right? Sirach chapter 4 and verse number 5. It says, turn not away thine eye from the needy and give him none occasion to curse thee. Right? Because you give him, right? He might just be all irritated and pissed off, and he might curse you to the Lord. Right? It says, for if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayer shall be heard of him that made him. Right? And like the brother said, you might not end up going home. Some tragic might happen. You might get sifted out. Something good not gonna happen if you get cursed. Right? So you want to give back to your people. Don't be oppressing your people. Right? We're supposed to be a light. Right? You got it.
Yeah, you don't, especially dealing with the poor, man. Poor of our people. The Lord has laws regarding how you deal with the poor of your people. Let me go to Deuteronomy chapter 10. Actually 15. It's Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 8. Because you're commanded to help out the poor. That's why these laws, and you're going to see more laws in Deuteronomy 24. They're going to also tend to the poor. Right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 7. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. So you can't harden your heart or shut your hand from your brother. You can't do that. Or you look at him and you kiss your TV. Oh, God. Right? Hey, about a year ago, and I always tell this story. I started training, because I did the sales. I started training this Jehovah's Witness girl. You know what I'm saying? We were around the same age. I trained her. And I took her to the field, and then I'm on the way back to drop her out of her car. And it was a Jake, and I rolled down the window and I gave him $1. He had a cup in his hand. I said, you got $1 on you. Mind you, she got some food and everything, so she got money. She said, yeah. She said, nah. I said, you don't got $1. She said, nah, I'm not gonna give it to him just so he could buy some drugs with it. I'm like, ain't you a Jehovah's Witness? She said, yeah. I'm like, don't you believe in the Bible? She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, you're supposed to give it to your name. She said, I'm not giving it to him. He can be a crackhead. And I just shook my head, man. I said, here you go, brother. You're an Israelite according to the Bible. He said, all right, thank you, brother. Right? And I ain't gonna lie. It's just, that was Eve, and that was our people. She was an Eve. Right? Let me read on this real quick. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart. So she had a wicked heart against her own people. Saying the 7th year of their year releases at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy brother, and thou givest him naught, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin unto thee. And he cry unto the Lord, it will be sin unto you, man. If that man cried unto the Lord about her, she would have been charged with that sin, because that's a wicked heart, man. right? The year of release is coming anyway. I ain't gonna give you nothing. You can wait another 34 days. Dang. Right? Verse 10, thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee, right? Shall bless thee in all thy works, and thou that putteth thy hand to do. Right? So the Lord said he won't bless you, man, if you do that. But you got it.
Yeah. I got two quick precepts, right? Sorry, 35:17, but I got a quick point, right? Because I remember one time, the Lord. This is the reason why the Lord deals with the poor, right? I remember one time, we came to Chicago to do a charity, right? And one of the brothers was going to get his coat off his back to the poor brother, but the poor brother ain't had no coat on, right? So brothers, they gave him what they need, the food, gloves. But the coat, he didn't want the coat. He said, hey, brother, you keep the coat. I don't want you to be cold. And he out there with a white tee on. Hey, because the poor is so humble. That's why the Lord is dealing with their prayers. Mm-hmm. Right? This is Sirach 35:17. Right? It says, the prayer of the humble pierceth the clouds. Until it come nigh, he will not be comforted. And will not depart to the Most High shall behold to judge righteously and execute judgment. And that's why judgment will get executed if you don't give it back to your people. And they curse you, right? Because they're humble. Right, they at a low point in their life, and the Lord, he loved to hear out humble people. You're not dealing with the prayers of the prideful, man. Those prayers ain't being received, right? But let me go to 2 Corinthians chapter 9 real quick. Right, hey, the Lord loves a humble man and a cheerful giver. Right, this is 2 Corinthians. Yeah, 2 Corinthians chapter 9. And I'm gonna start at verse 6. It says, "But this I say." He which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. Right. So if you giving back, you're gonna receive back from the Lord. Right. It might not be in a way that you want, but you're gonna receive back, whether it's spiritually, whether it's physically. Right. It's gonna be bountiful. Right. It says, every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for Yahweh loveth a cheerful giver. Right. So you're giving back to your people. You don't even I guess I'll give this to you, man. Y'all busting me out shy, man. Grace and mercy. Right? No, you got to be cheerful giving it to them. Right? Knowing that, you're doing a good deed for your brother. Right? Don't be, just trying to just doing it all vainly. Right? Be cheerful when you give it back to your people. Right? That's where we fail. Right? Not caring about our people. Right? But you got it.
Let me go back to Deuteronomy chapter 24. All right. That's definitely right, man. You have to love your brother as you love yourself. That is a commandment that the Lord told us to do. He got commandments regarding these things, man. All right, so let's go back to Deuteronomy 24 and verse 15. It's like in verse 16. The father shall not be put to death for the children, neither the children should be put to death for the father. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. And you will see that in the book of Ezekiel as well. Right, the father being, let me actually get that in 2 Kings, 14 and 6. Get this in 2 Kings chapter 14, verse 6. Right, this 2 Kings chapter 14, verse 6. All right, sorry, verse 5. And it came to pass, as soon as the kingdom was confirmed in his hand, that he slew his servants, which he had slain the king, his father. Right? Verse 6. But the children of the murderers he slew not, according unto that which is written in the book of the law of Moses, wherein the Lord commanded, saying, the father should not be put to death for the children, nor the children be put to death for the fathers, but every man shall be put to death for his own sin. And this is, I'm not letting this is Amaziah, right? Who his father was slain by his servants, but the servants, the children of those servants, he didn't put to death because of the law that was written. Right, so we can go back to that in the law. In Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 17. I'll go back to that, Deuteronomy 24. Deuteronomy 24 and 17. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. Right, so these laws, like I said, going also into the poor, but the fatherless, You can't take a widow's clothing to pledge. Right? These are proper statutes and these are the weightier matters of the law. When Yahweh Shah called the Pharisees hypocrites, right? They want to look righteous in different things, but these are the weightier matters of the law that you will omit: judgment, mercy, having that grace. Although you get stoned for committing adultery, but there are certain matters of the law that required grace and mercy that our people wasn't adhering to. Right? Verse 18, but thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, that the Lord thy God redeemed thee thence. Therefore, I command thee to do this thing. So let me go to the book of Deuteronomy 10 and 18. Because these are the matters of the law that you can't, these are the things that are important. Right? It's Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 18. And it says, he doeth execute the judgment of the Father. I'm going to start over 17. For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons nor taketh reward. So this is talking about the Most High Yahweh himself. And these are the characteristics. And this is what the Lord does. He doeth execute the judgment of the fatherless and of the widow, and loveth the stranger, and giving him food and raiment. Love you therefore the stranger, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt. Right? So this is what the Lord does. The Lord executes these type of judgments, and he wants us to do that as well as his people, especially for the poor, for the fatherless. Right? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19 and 35. Right? These are laws, statutes, commandments regarding judgments and different things that we're supposed to do. All right, it's Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 35. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, meaning you had to know that, right? In meat yard, in weight or in measure, for just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall you have. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. And that's why the Lord says he's looking for a just and upright man. I'm looking for a just and upright, a man that's going to do just judgment. Right? Let me get the book out of precept and escapeth me. It escaped. You got something?
Nah, you got it.
Oh, Proverbs 11 and 1. Just lock it. I got it. Right? The Lord is a just God. Right? Because why? Proverbs 11 and 1, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. And that's a just thing to do, is not take a widow's raiment to pledge, execute the judgment of the fatherless, because the poor is the ones that's always going to be targeted the most. Right? The poor is the one that's not going to be really listened to like that, or the fatherless. So they're not going to uphold their word in any type, because, they tend to more inclined to steal for their family or do certain things. And people are not really going to listen to them because of their low estate. So you have to execute that judgment and make sure, that things are proper. Right? Verse 19. So these are more laws that's going to regard the poor. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and has forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy God may bless thee all the work of thine hands. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the strangers, the fatherless, and for the widow. So what is these three verses saying? Right? If it's around the time of harvest, or you're going out into your garden and you're picking your blueberries off the tree, right? And you go around the whole garden and you're picking your the vegetables and the fruits off the tree. You put that inside your house, and then you get another basket and you go around it again, and you make sure everything's empty. So when the fatherless goes into your backyard because they're hungry, they have no food because you gleaned your whole garden. The Lord said you can't do that. You can't go fetch it again. You got one time to get everything you need. The rest is going to be for the poor and the fatherless. So if you forgot that pear on the pear tree, you can't go back out there and grab it and say, oh, man, you already have 4 pears, and then the poor comes in because they're allowed to eat of that, and they have nothing to eat. Right? Thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the poor. You can't glean that afterwards. Right? Let me go to the book of Leviticus chapter 9. And that goes back to Deuteronomy 15. Let me go to Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 9. All right. Huh?
No.
God. This is Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 9. That's why these laws are perfect. They will always have some food to eat. If every Israelite was keeping it, they had their own backyard, they got the oxen, they got the, they got the fruits, and they got the, the apple tree, they got the vine tree, they got the olive tree, and then there will always be food for the poor and the fatherless. Right? It's Leviticus 19 and 9. And when you reap the harvest of your land, right? So we reap in the harvest, the feast of ingathering, and it says, "Thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field." So yeah, you got one time to go out there, but you can't be meticulous and make sure you pluck every single grape. So there'll be none on the tree. You spend all day plucking the grapes off the damn tree. You can't wholly reap the corners of thy field. Neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest. So the Lord said, "Neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest, and thou shalt not glean thy vineyard. Neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt not leave them. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and the stranger. I am the Lord your God." Right? So the Lord said, you can't wholly reap your fields on purpose because you have to take care of the poor. You got to take care of your brother. You got to take care of your sister. Right? Let me get this precept real quick. The reason why is because the land doesn't belong to you. The land belongs to the Most High. He put you in that land. That is his land as for an inheritance. So whatever comes out of that land, he gets to make the laws regarding it. All right, let me go to Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 33. The land belongs to the Lord. Right? Let me start at verse. Let me see that one. The land belongs to the Lord. I'm just going to tell you that. If not, it's cool. We can move on. Thought I had this precept.
I got a point if you don't got nothing.
Con. Let me see if I can find it for you. Con, you got it. It's cool.
You can go back to the verse where it say the year release. That's in Deuteronomy 24. I want to get this point in Deuteronomy 15 though. I'm just trying to make it up. Right.
You said Deuteronomy 24?
You good. I just gonna go to Deuteronomy 15. Right. It's Deuteronomy 15 and 7. Right. It says, if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. Thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need and that which he wanted. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release is at hand, and thine evil eye be against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not. And he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be a sin unto thee. Right? Because you don't want to just be like, hey, you good, the year of release is at hand, right? You get everything you want. Right? He might need that day. Right? So you don't want to be, moving in that spirit, right? You hardening your heart like a heathen, right? You telling the Most High essentially you hate your people when you wholly cleaning up you wholly gathering all the damn crops from your fields, and all the poor can't go and grab stuff, right? You just hate your people, right? You just selfish and only thinking about yourself, right? Because our forefathers, right, like Yahushua and the disciples, right? They might have been grabbing people corn, right? Grabbing people grapes, right? All that kind of stuff, right? What if you would have did that to the Lord? That's how you got to look at your people, right? I got one quick precept. Proverbs. I think it's I want to say, verse 19 and Proverbs 19 and 17. Right? It says, "He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he giveth will he pay him again." Right. So if you looking out for your people, you're not wholly gathering everything from your field and you giving back to the poor. You're not taking the millstone, right? You lending unto them, right? And you lending unto the Lord, right? You're supposed to look at every brother and every sister as Yahushua, right? You're not supposed to look at them just that's just another Negro that's not in the truth. That's just another brother that's in the truth of fringes, right? You got to look at them as you would want to be treated yourself, right? I'm gonna drop down to verse 7. You don't want your people to hate you, right? You supposed to be an Israelite with fringes on. People supposed to look at you different. They got expectations for you. Are you an example, right? You a leader, right? This is Proverbs 19:7. It says, "All the brethren of the poor do hate him." Right? How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting him. Right? Now, you don't want all your brethren of the poor to hate you. Right? You don't want other Israelites to hate you, right? Nowadays, right? You want to, do these things, give back unto the people. Hey, when you give it back unto people, people see that on the streets, right? And they gonna look at that and they like, yeah, hey, I don't see Christians doing that. Maybe this is the right thing. So it's all about, loving your people and loving the Most High.
That's right. That's exactly right. Right, loving your people and loving the Most High. I found the precept. Let me go to Leviticus chapter 25. So you got to understand that land, Israel, the Mount Zion, Jerusalem, that land don't belong to you. It belongs to the Most High. So whatever comes out that land, you got to obey what he says. That's why the Lord kicked us out the land. It belonged to him. Right? It's Leviticus 25 and 23. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine. For you were strangers and sojourners with me. So the land is the Lord's. So if the Lord gives you plentiful, and he gives you your garden, and he gives you the things that bear fruit out of that soil, he's telling you what to do with it, and he's telling you to help out your brother. He's telling you to help out your sister if they poor, they fall in hard times, the widow. Right? It's Deuteronomy chapter 29. It's like 24. Verse 19. Verse 20. Verse 20. I'll read it again. Verse 19. When thou cuttest thine harvest in the field and has forgot a sheaf in the field, and thou shalt not go again to fetch it, it shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. The Lord thy God may bless thee all the works of thine hands. Right? Even talking about the wheat as well. Not just the fruits and the berries, but the wheat. Verse 20, when thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. So we know what that's talking about now. Verse 22, and thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I command thee to do this thing. Right? And that's why we go over the law, and that's why we go over these precepts, because they're perfect, man. These laws are perfect. Every word is pure. Right? Let me get this closing precept. You got a closing precept?
No, you can.
Come on, let me get this closing precept, man, about the law. These words. And then you have people. All right, the Old Testament don't matter. Right? It is what it is. We just Yahushua day, right? Yeah, and it's we not. The Lord didn't keep the law, and Yahushua didn't keep the law, and it's madness. These laws are perfect. Every word is pure. Let me go to Psalms 33:7. Every word is pure. So this is Psalms chapter 33. Verse 4. And it says, "For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth." So the word of the Lord is right, man. Right? And all his works are done in truth. Mercy, just judgment, right? He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord, man. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. Right? And that's what we see on the earth, man. Right? Well, that's what we once seen on the earth. And we want to get back to that. Right? We want to get back to this through the Spirit. We'll be keeping these laws in the kingdom. It's going to be perfect how we deal with our people. Right? Under Yahushua. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? So that was the Deuteronomy chapter 24. First, Sunday morning session. Lord willing, we can do this, continue to do this every Sunday through the Spirit. Right? Going over various topics, prophecy, chronology, history, right? And also the law as well. Right. With that, I'd like to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, right, and bid a mighty strong shalom. Shalom.